Happy morning, girls. I welcome you all for our next session of Commerce Lab class. Okay, so in Commerce Lab class, we are going to discuss about bills of exchange. In my last class only, I have discussed bills of exchange, and I told you all that I am going to discuss about acceptance, types of acceptance of bills of exchange. So in yesterday's class, I have completed what to say requirements for acceptance of bills of exchange. All those sentence formatted ones I have discussed. So in today's class, I am going to discuss its types on, and we will move to promissory note. So if you see this particular types of bills of exchange, general acceptance types of bills of exchange or acceptance bills of exchange. Acceptance of bills of exchange. Okay, so there are three types. Okay, sorry, there are two types: general acceptance and qualified acceptance. General acceptance, qualified acceptance. What is that? General acceptance and qualified acceptance. If the bill is accepted by the drawee without any kind of condition, the acceptance is treated as general acceptance. Means the acceptance without any kind of conditions. Okay, whoever is the drawee, he has to accept it without any kind of conditions, then it is called as general acceptance. Now opposite to it, qualified acceptance means if it is having general conditions, certain conditions in order to accept it, then it is called as qualified acceptance. Here there are conditions, here there are no conditions. That's it. Very one word answer. Okay. So this is about types of acceptance. Yesterday only I told you it is a very small 1 to 2 minutes it will take. So that's it. Types of acceptance. Now in today's class we will move with promissory note. What is meant by a promissory note? What is meant by a promissory note? Now, it is given, in the Negotiable Instrument Act 1881. Okay, this can be divided according to the Negotiable Instrument Act 1881. According to Negotiable Instrument Act 1881. So in that act, this definition is given. A promissory note is an instrument. So we say financial documents as an instruments. So that's the reason that word, it is a negotiable instrument. That's why they are saying that it is an instrument which is unconditional, same like bills of exchange, which is unconditional and which is undertaken by the signature of a maker to pay certain sum of amount for a certain person or to the bearer of the instrument. So it is prepared by whom? It is prepared by a person and it is signed by a person to promise certain amount to pay to certain person or the bearer of that promissory note. Understood? Very simple. So please write down, a promissory note is an instrument in writing. So write down, it is an instrument in writing. It is an instrument in writing containing an unconditional undertaking, containing an unconditional undertaking undertaking signed by a maker to pay certain amount to pay to pay certain amount to the order of a certain person, to the order of certain person, or to the bearer of an instrument, or to the bearer of the instrument, or to the bearer of the instrument. So this is the definition of promissory note. Okay. So now we will try to understand in simple to say, it is an unconditional promise made by the debtor to pay some amount to a specific person or whosoever is in charge in receiving the amount. That's it. Okay. So this is about the definition of a promissory note. Now we will try to move to the features of promissory note. Okay. What is that? Features of promissory note. It is made in writing. Okay. So as you all know, from here only you can say, okay, from here only you can say that it is made in writing, because in the definition itself is there. It is made in writing. Second one, if you see, second one you try to open and see. It is expressed undertaking or a promise to pay certain amount. As you all know, it is a promise to pay certain amount. From the definition only see how many points are coming. It is an unconditional instrument. That word also it is written, unconditional undertaking. Next one. It is prepared and signed by the debtor. Already I have told you all, it is prepared by the debtor to pay certain amount to the specific person or as the bearer. So again the same point is being written. Then it is made for the payment of amount which is due. Okay, it is made for certain amount for which is due. Okay, then it is payable to the creditor. Obviously girls, it is paid when it is prepared by the debtor, then obviously the amount is to be paid to the creditor only. Next one. It can be paid either on demand or on a specific date. Okay, if specific date is given in the promissory note, then you will pay on that specific date. Or else whenever the creditor is demanding, on that day you have to pay. Okay, and it is payable not only to a specific person, or else even it is payable to the bearer also. Okay, last one is it requires revenue stamps. Okay, like this, see totally 9 points you are going to write from this only. Okay, 9 points you are going to write from this only. Okay, so with which your features will be done. So parties involved in this, parties. Okay, so one is the maker and other one is the payee. Maker and payee. Who is a maker? The person who owes money to someone, who is a debtor. He is the maker. Who is payee? He is a creditor or else the bearer. Understood? He is the creditor or the bearer of receiving. Means the person who will receive the money is called as a payee. So these are the parties who are involved in it. Okay. So that's it. One specimen copy is given in the promissory note. Okay, about the promissory note. So all these things you need to prepare for your record. If it is a live interaction, these all commerce lab is to be more interesting part. So we cannot do anything. We have to go with the situation. Okay. So this is all about your promissory note. Next we will try to discuss about check. So this topic is over. Now we will try to discuss about a check. For everything a sample is given. That sample you need to draw in your exams mark. Check, everyone know. I need not tell you all. Okay. So again, according to section 6 of Negotiable Instrument Act 1886, according to which section? Section 6 of Negotiable Instrument Act 1881. According to Negotiable Instrument Act of 1881. A check may be defined as an exchange, bill of exchange. It is also a sort of bill of exchange drawn on a specified banker. Why? Because if you see the check, there will be clearly written a banker name, because banker is a person who is giving your leaves of check, isn't it? So it is a bill of exchange drawn on the name of a specified banker, and it is not expressed to be payable otherwise mentioned. Okay, it will not be mentioned on the check as whom I should pay and how much amount I should pay. Until and unless you are expressing in it, it will not be paid to others. Okay, so now it includes a electronic image of truncated check. It includes a electronic image. It is not someone who is drawing the check. It is already electronic image with color and all the columns and so on. It is a truncated check. What is meant by truncated? Short. Truncated means what? Short. Meaning is short check. So because it will be something like this, that's it, isn't it? So it is a short one, truncated check, and it is in a electronic form. Okay, so all these things you already know. It is always drawn on a bank or a banker. Okay, it is always drawn by a bank or a banker. It is printed format, and it is supplied by the bankers to the customers. See, all these things we already know. Simply it is given in sentences format, but all these things we know. Okay, the name of the payee will be there. The name of the payee, there is a special column provided for it. In that you have to write the name of the payee, and then the amount to be paid is written in numbers and figures also. See, you imagine the check and you can define the check. Simple girls. Okay, so date will be given. There will be a place for signature. Likewise, see, it will be something like this. It will be something like this. Okay, the check. Okay, it is already given in your textbook, so please look into it. Okay, so this is again a short note. Now next one, pay in slip. Now all small. Okay, 1 minute, 2 minutes explanation one we are trying to discuss. Next one is pay in slip. So check is over. Next one, pay in slip. Next one, withdrawal form. Pay in slip. So what is meant by a pay in slip? It is one of the important document that is being used in the banking sector. Okay, pay in slip is used to deposit the cash into the account of some bank. See, when you are taking an amount and going into the bank and you ask them, I have to deposit this amount in so and so bank, then they will ask you to fill a form like how much amount you are going to deposit, what are its denominations, like how many 100 rupees notes are there, how many 500 rupees notes are there, and what is the total in words. Okay, give the opposite person bank details and the name, branch code, IFSCI code, all these things, all these details they are going to ask you. So you need to fill that form. Okay, so pay-in slip is a form filled by a depositor while depositing the amount into others' account. Okay, so you need to give the signature at the space provided. You need to give all the details about opposite person, his bank account, his branch, his bank name, IFSC code, everything if you give, then the banker will try to transfer the amount from your account to the other account. Okay, that is pay in slip. Now next one we will try to discuss about withdrawal form. What is that? We are going to discuss about withdrawal form. This is also an important form, okay, used to withdraw the amount. You already know pay in slip means it is used to deposit the amount. In the name itself it is clearly said it is withdrawal form. If you wanted to withdraw the amount from your account, again it is similarly like pay in slip, okay, the image is similar, not completely but little bit it is similar. There will be a date provided. You need to give your account, your name, the date, your account details, and how much amount you need to withdraw. You have to write it in figures and you have to write it in words also. Okay, so that is how you need to write and submit it to the banker so that he will try to give you the amount from your account. That is withdrawal form. Now draft application form. Next one is draft application form. Okay. So draft application form is also similar like, to see it will look like a check mark. Draft application form, to see it will look like a check. Now, sometimes if you are applying for, when this draft will come, see this and this, this I will try to explain here. Usually when you are trying to apply for central post, central notifications, so the jobs for central, central level, okay, what they will ask you all is you need to pay some amount for fee, as a fee for written examination of that job. So they will ask you all to prepare a draft. You need to pay the amount in the form of draft. Now say example, for every person they are asking to pay 500 rupees. So they will not ask you all to do online transfer, but they will ask you all to create a draft. So what you should do now? You can go to any bank and tell them that you need to prepare draft. Now say for example, Indian Oil Company, okay, Indian Oil Company has given a notification for jobs. Okay, now you wanted to apply for the job. You wanted to apply for the job. So he asked you all to pay 500 rupees into his account through draft, and he has given address like this: the Indian Oil Limited, okay, registrar, something like that, registrar, okay, some kind of bank details he has given, and then the location is Mumbai. He tried to prepare the draft on this name. So you have to go to the bank and say you require draft. Then bank person will ask, in whose favor? In whose favor? So this address you need to give. So he will try to prepare a draft same like check. It will be same like check. Okay. So what he is doing is he is trying to transfer. You will give that 500 rupees to bank, and bank will transfer that 500 rupees to that person by creating a draft. Okay. This is also a format of paying the amount to the opposite person. Okay. So bank will take some charges for preparation of draft. It will not do freely. It will try to take some charges, service charges. Okay. So the fee of the draft will be similar like check. Okay. So that is what it is. Now I hope you have understood. So it is for the purpose of preparation of draft or bank draft payable to any person. When you will try to prepare this instrument, if you are uh, paying some amount to someone. Okay, it's not essential for a person to have bank account. Yes, this is also this point you need to note down. In order to prepare a draft, you need not have any kind of bank account. No need of any bank account. Even though you are not having any bank accounts, you go to any bank, they will try to prepare this draft. Okay? Why? Because they require fee, you are paying the fee in the form of draft. There closes the matter. So you will try to prepare in favor of this person which is payable to the bank. You are paying, isn't it? How much you are paying? In example, what did I say? 500 rupees. Okay? So bank will only take care of everything. It will only fill the date, it will only fill the amount, it will only fill the place, it will only fill the branch name. Okay? All these things. And address of the depositor also. Like I am depositing, isn't it? So my name, my details will also be mentioned on the draft. For this, what did I say? They will take some amount. They will take some charges for the services they have given to us. Okay? So this is called as draft application form. Now, let's move to another topic which is account opening and nomination form. Another topic. So for everything specimen copies are given. Actually for record, you need to get paying slip from the bank. Go to any bank, they will give you paying slip, withdrawal form. Draft application form, nobody will give you. So you can take Xerox. You type in internet like draft, you type in Google draft application form or else draft form. They will give you image, so that you need to take print out and paste it in the record. So that is how you are going to do. Next one is account opening and nomination form. Next topic. What is that? Account opening and nomination form. So, there are different types of forms. What is that? There are different types of forms in order to open an account in the bank. Okay? There are how many forms? There are different kinds of forms in order to open a bank account. Okay? So, what are those different kinds of forms or else accounts? Savings account, okay? Current account and deposit account. What is that? Savings account, current account and deposit account. This is angles. Okay. So, it depends on you what you are trying to take. Okay. So, whether you wanted to take a deposit account or whether you want to take a savings account or whether you wanted to take the current account. Current account is mostly prepared by employers because they are trying to pay salaries to their employees. So, their amount of depositing into the account will be more. So, that's the reason they will try to take current account because the tax will be calculated. If in your savings account, if more amount is there, tax will be calculated. But if you are depositing, taking a current account, they will feel that this is a business account and charges compared to savings account and current account will be little bit different. Okay, so that is the reason there are three types. What is that? Savings account, current account and deposit accounts. Okay, so now depends upon what you take. Okay, what is that? Depends upon what you take. So usually what account form consists of? What is your account form? Because we are discussing about account form, isn't it? So what do this account form consist of? It consists of your personal information, like what's your name, what is your date of birth and all these things. It consists of residential address, which is nothing but your permanent details, okay, and address for correspondence. Then who will be your nominee? If not you, after you, who will take? Your income details, your occupation, which citizen are you, okay, all these required information it will ask. You need to follow certain important steps given by the bank. They will ask you to upload certain proofs like identity card or something like that. We will try to discuss in that in KYC, know your customer, okay, in that topic we are going to discuss. So they will ask all these details, and after submitting, the bank officials will go through your account form and all the nomination form that you have submitted, okay. If they feel okay, if they are satisfied with yours, if they are pleased with yours, if they are convinced with yours, then they give you an account in their bank. Otherwise, they will try to reject it. So they have given Bank of Baroda account opening form as specimen copy. So it is given in 2.11 page of second unit. So if you see your Bank of Baroda along with nomination form and KYC, they have given. Not only Bank of Baroda in 2.11 page, they have given Union Bank account opening form also. Okay. So if you see, now what you have to do is, what is your job for Commerce Lab practically is, for your record, you go to any bank nearby your home, you go to any bank, just take account opening form, okay, and attach in the record, okay. That is what the job you need to do. So little bit you need to come out of your house and do certain things for Commerce Lab, okay. Without that it will not work out, okay. So this is what you have to do. Now next form that we are going to discuss in the next class is know your customer. What is this? KYC. Know your customer. I will just give you all the introduction and leave. Okay. So know your customer means what? As a State Bank of India, okay, or else as a bank person, I should know what my customer is, from where he is. Is he a trusted citizen or not? Isn't it? Don't you think a person should know? What if he is entering into your bank and doing some kind of fraud, or else some kind of coercion threat, okay? Whether he is a person who is an Indian person, or who is a Pakistani person who is trying to share your confidential information to your enemy country, who knows? So that's the reason KYC is included as a separate topic, okay. It is your business to know about your consumer, okay. What you should know, that much you should know, every detail. He should be very transparent to you. You have to collect lot many documents which is trying to show that he is a trusted person, okay. What it seems, you should try to know that he is a trusted person, okay. So how you will know? You have to take the complete details. You have to do in fact survey, okay. Whether he will try to set up his occupation. So is he truly belong to that particular company? So you have to give a background check, okay. So without giving a background check, you are not going to give permission to open an account in the bank. So that is the reason, this Negotiable Instrument Act 1881 is telling you all very clearly to know about your consumer. Because whenever, if someone is asking for it, okay, so for inspection or something like that, if somebody is asking for KYC, you need to produce it. Knowing your customer, it's not about the disadvantages, but there are many advantages if you know about your customer, okay. So in the next class, I will try to discuss about KYC and what are the key points to be remembered in KYC. Thank you girls, have a nice day.